Thank you for being willing to share your lunch with us. As Patrick was saying, I originally got the idea from Chris, who I thought was really kind of him, because I think sometimes when we do something really awesome, we want to kind of guard our secret and be like, yes, I'm awesome. Don't ask me how. But Chris laid it all out there in a video to actually demonstrate his techniques, and I was really inspired with how he wove the flags into a dialogue that seemed really natural. Because a little background on how this works is you are given a set of flags to try and capture from an assigned company. And you have two ways that you can do that. The first way is through OSINT and doing research. And then the second way is capturing those flags over the phone. And so you have 3 weeks to do as much research as you can. You write a report. And then your goal is to try, the points are worth more if you can get them in the sound booth. And so the goal is to get as many of these flags as you can while you're in the sound booth. And for the audience, a lot of times you don't know when a flag has been captured. And so that's why I have the PowerPoint slides, so that as I progress through the call, you can actually see when I get a flag, so that that information is valuable. And anyway, I was really inspired with a lot of what Chris did. I put a little bit of my own flair to it, and I was able to complete this call actually almost 2 times completely. You only have 20 minutes, and so I ran out of time on the second one. It wasn't that he cut me off or got suspicious, it's just my time was running out, and so I didn't make it all the way to the end. But something that's important to note is that you can capture the flags only one time. For example, the most highly rated flag is getting the target to go to a URL. And actually, in my call, I get him to go to a URL 4 different times, but I only get the flag once. However, I can get the flag again if I call a new person. And so I was able to get all these flags, like all the points for all these flags, and then I was able to get them again when I made the call another time. So there are some flags in here that I didn't include. It's not, this wasn't a complete sweep. I didn't get every single one. There are some that felt a little awkward that didn't really go with my pretext, such as like, who does your garbage removal? And who does your vending machines? And what pest control company do you use? There were some that—
Part of everyday conversation, right?
Yeah, like, hi, oh my gosh, we have the same name. Who does your pest control? I'm not quite that smooth. So anyway, we'll go ahead and get started, I guess. So ring, ring, ring.
Acme Company, this is Jeff.
Oh, no, wait, sorry. My husband's name is actually Jeff.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's really funny. I thought I knew all the Jeffs. I don't think that we've met. How long have you worked here?
About 3 years already.
Oh, okay. I am still pretty new. I'm still getting to know everybody, so that's probably why we haven't met. Just out of curiosity, do you spell yours? Are you the J-E-F-F Jeff, or are you like the G weird E-O-F Jeff?
Oh, mine is J-E-F-F.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So is my husband. Fine. Okay. Well, hopefully I can introduce you to my Jeff the next time we do a company gathering. But anyway, my name is Caitlin, and you may or may not know that we are actually doing an internal audit of all the service centers, and I am helping Anfisa out with the reports. But it looks like we have some missing information from your location. Is it okay if I ask you a couple questions?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So first off, this is the Phoenix Service Center.
Yes, it is.
Okay, and it's located at 123 Phoenix Way?
Yes.
Okay, great. I just want to make sure I have the right form. So just so you know, part of what we're looking for is any outdated software or hardware that needs to be updated so that we can work on getting things replaced and hopefully make your life a little bit easier.
Yeah, cool. That sounds nice, yeah.
Okay, cool. According to my form for Phoenix, I just need to fill in the blanks about hardware and internet. So, okay, hardware. What brand of computer are you using? It's probably either a Dell or HP, something like that.
This is a Dell.
Cool. Is it a laptop or a desktop that you're using?
It's a desktop.
Okay. What version of Windows are you running? Usually, the older ones should be running something like Windows 7.
Oh, I think this one's older. This is still running Windows XP.
Okay, wow. I need to get a little bit more info on that, but I'll do that in a minute. So first, what phone systems are you using? Do you have Cisco or VoIP?
Mine is, I think you pronounce that Allegiant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. That's a little different than what I thought I had, but that's okay. So for your desktop, do you have disk encryption installed? Usually it's something called BitLocker. You would normally see it ask for a special password when you restart the computer that might be different than your account.
No, this one just asked me for my login.
Okay, that's good to know. We're starting to get the newer ones with encryption to help things be a little bit more secure. So moving on. Now your location should require badge access, is that right?
Yes, it does, yeah.
Okay, and is your badge a thicker kind, which is what we call RFID, or is it thinner, more like a credit card?
It's about as thin as a credit card.
Okay, so we call that one an HID type badge. Okay, so also, do you have, I can't remember, do you have security guards at your location?
Yes, just one.
Okay, good to know. Now what I need to get for the rest of the form is regarding the internet. So can I have you open a browser?
Sure, just any kind?
Yeah, anyone should work. Just let me know what the one that you choose.
Okay, this one only has Internet Explorer.
Okay, that works just fine. Go ahead and open it.
Oh, okay, I have it open.
Nice. So I have a web page that should be able to pull everything I need so we don't have to do this manually. So can you go to, in the URL bar, bit.ly/acme?
Okay, so bit.ly/acme. Is that right?
Yep, that's
okay.
right.
That's weird. I'm getting like a page not found 404 error.
Shoot. Okay. Let's just see if the internet is working, if that's an issue. Can you just go to any webpage, like facebook.com?
Yeah. One sec. Yeah, Facebook works.
Okay. Oh my gosh, sorry. I feel really stupid. I gave you the wrong address. Okay, so this time try bit.ly/acme audit.
Okay, so with audit at the end.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. Yep, that works.
Great. Can you tell me what the page says?
It says socialengineer.org.
Okay, that's a little weird. That is not what it should be. Is your computer, is it connected to Wi-Fi or is it hardwired?
It's hardwired.
Okay. You do have Wi-Fi there, right, though?
Yeah, we have Wi-Fi here, yeah.
Okay, and for what I have, the Wi-Fi is called Acme and Acme-Guest.
No, the one here is called Acme Co.
Okay, that's different than what I have, so it's good to know. I want to try one thing real quick for my notes. Can you go to this machine, one word, .info in your browser and tell me what it says underneath the full setup details?
Yeah, one sec. Okay, so it says Internet Explorer 6.0 on Windows NT 5.1. Do you want the IP address as well?
No, that's okay. I just need the version info. Does anyone ever remote into your network from a VPN client? Do they work from home?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure what that is. I don't think so.
Okay, that's fine. I was just curious, just trying to figure out what the issues might be. When you do have issues, do you just call the company IT support?
Yeah, I call them and they create a ticket.
Okay, all right. Yeah, some people, for some reason, are calling like an outsourced company for IT support, and that's not right. So I'm glad you're calling the in-house one. But thank you for your help. I think your location definitely needs some updates and some new routers since we had some issues with the internet. And I'd like to get one ordered and shipped for you. At your location, do you generally use UPS or FedEx?
Usually FedEx.
Okay, I will use that one then. And I'll also send some setup instructions in a PDF document. Can you open your Adobe client and tell me the version you are using just to make sure that it can support the format that I have?
Mm-hmm. Sure. Okay. It looks like it's Adobe PDF.
Awesome. That will work just fine. I will send along the PDF in an email attachment just to make sure. You are using Outlook, right?
Yeah, we're using Outlook 2010.
Oh dear. Okay. Well, that's okay. I'm here to help you out, and I have some paperwork to do on my end. But thank you so much. You've saved me quite a bit of time.
Yeah, no problem. Hopefully I'll see you and your Jeff soon.
I would love that. Have a great day, Jeff.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Oh. All right, so just for a little recap, my report came out to 106 points, so those are flags and pretexts that I was able to discover beforehand. The calls that I made in the booth during DEF CON granted me 654 points with a grand total of 760 points, and it takes the cake. And now we have a little time for Q&A. If you have any questions for me or Chris.
And I'll probably go around with a microphone if you guys have questions, or you can come up to the podium. Either is fine, just so that we have it for the recording.
How much research time?
So how much? Yeah, for the report, the amount of research that I did ended up being around 70 to 80 hours total for the report, and then I did some additional research in between, just prepping for DEF CON, so it ended up around 70 to 80.
Yeah,
Good chunk of
mine
time.
was about the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know you do this for clients as well. My question is, does a technical pretext usually work? Is that what you kind of stick with, or do you also like switch it up, use other things when you're doing phishing?
Yeah, it depends on what I'm going after. For DEF CON, it seemed appropriate to do an audit where I could be asking all types of questions about a whole bunch of different stuff, because that seemed to fit with what an auditor would do. There was no internal audit. I did find the name Anfisa was real. I did find that there were auditors for this company, and I think she ended up happening to be a girl I kind of know. So I was like, if she gets in trouble, I know her. It's okay. Like, I'll speak for her. A lot of times I like to do HR, and usually I choose like Linda from HR because that sounds like an HR name. And there was like a time where I called and I was like, hey, yeah, this is like Linda from HR. And she's like, that's weird. She's like, I only know one Linda from HR. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to start using my middle name because it's just too weird to have two Lindas from HR. And she was like, oh, yeah, I can get that. And she like totally went along with it. And so Linda from HR is usually a pretext I like to go with. People tend to like her. But yeah, switching it up, more than anything, just depending on what the client wants. If it's more passwords and credit cards, like kind of, I feel like if you say, hey, I'm calling from my IT and I want your password, people have been kind of prone to know that that's not right. And so if you can come at it from any kind of slight other angle, people aren't really engineered enough to like recognize that as a threat right away as like IT. Good question.
How do you deal with, or do you get nervous, or is it just really easy for you? And if you do get nervous, how do you get past the crippling anxiety that prevents you to talk to people in general?
I've been doing a lot of research on this. So if anyone else has advice, please come talk to me. I get incredibly nervous. I have a screenshot on my Twitter that right before I went in the booth, my Apple Watch gave me a notification saying like, your heart rate jumped to 160 beats per minute. Are you okay? And I was like, must be time to go into the booth because I'm about literally to have a heart attack. And even just coming up here, even though I knew it was a reenactment, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like going to steal information from a company. People are going to see me. It's still very nerve-wracking. And I think what's hard for me is what makes me a good social engineer is that I wear my heart on my sleeve and I make it really easy to approach me. But that also makes it really difficult to be the bad guy when I'm using what I think is the best parts of me to get to know somebody, but I'm doing it for a bad purpose. And the thing that helps me most is before I make a call, and sometimes I even just have to like write it out. saying like, I am doing this to help them be better. Because there's someone worse than me who will attack them. And if I can get there first, and if I can use all the charm and schmooze that I've got inside of me to help this person be better, then like that's why I'm doing this. So trying to look a little bit beyond the mark so that I'm not just so caught up with what am I going to say, I'm being a horrible person to this person I don't even know, but just looking beyond the mark to say I'm doing this for the greater good. They need to be better because of interacting with me, and that's my goal. And so I still get nervous, I still deal with that, I'm still figuring out ways, because sometimes that doesn't work. And when people yell at me on the phone, which is what they should be doing, I have to like eat a pint of ice cream and like watch comedy and get people to tell me nice things because I hate myself. So there's still some unhealthy relationships going on there, but I'm working on it. So I'm not a robot by any means, but it's better for me to do it than to someone worse to do it. So.
All right, yeah, this guy called me over, but he actually just wanted to steal my badge, so he's lost his privilege.
Nice.
So I feel like when you're trying to do this at a larger organization, you're pretending to be somebody from IT or whatever. It's way easier to get away with it. Like you can just make up a name because they don't necessarily know everybody in IT. But what are tips for like a small bank with like a few locations where like kind of everybody knows everybody? Or, I mean, can you come in as a third party pretending to be, you know, like, it just seems harder if you have to pull that, obviously. So it's like just calling as some random person from another outsourced tech company. Like obviously they're more suspicious. I mean, how do you work around that?
So a couple of ways, like the third party is a really good one because there are people, like even smaller corporations need to work with third parties. I have a friend at Rapid7. He always says that he's coming from Rapid7. Like he doesn't lie about that. And people are like, oh, okay, that's fine. Another tactic I like to use is, oh my gosh, I'm brand new. You may not know me because I just started and, you know, but I've like been sick, like, oh my gosh, I've been like super sick and I just started. And so I'm calling in, like I'm from home. Like there are kind of ways to, based on like, wait, I know everybody who works here, that you can still kind of try and slip in the cracks, and sometimes they let that go because they don't want to be mean to the newbie. Some people are, just so you know. But that's another method. Yeah.
Two really quick questions. One is the Linda is my middle name. I'm curious if that's kind of a ninja move to pivot to that. I wonder if you had anticipated that and you had thought about what they'd say if they called you on being Linda. Did you think of that on the fly, or was that?
That was on the fly because I knew there was a Linda in HR and I was impersonating her. And so if the person had said, what's your last name? And I would have said, I'm Linda Smith. They would have been like, you're not Linda Smith. I know who Linda Smith is. But instead they said, that's weird. I only know one Linda in HR. And then I was able to kind of on the fly be like, yeah, there are a lot of us. There's actually, I think, a YouTube video is from like a comedy show of how they're like all the Lindas in HR. And like, how did you get into HR? Like, I actually changed my name to Linda because I wanted to get into HR. So yeah, kind of being able to take the fact that they didn't ask the right question and kind of laugh it off and move on as quickly as you can. So.
Thank you. And I'm curious, the companies that are targeted in this competition, are they just random companies like Walmart or Sears or something?
They are chosen by socialengineer.org. So Chris Hednagy's company heads us up. They are all Fortune 500 companies, and they are companies that are open during weekend hours because that's when the competition takes place, is Friday, Saturday. He has a team of lawyers that, I just want to make that clear, he has a team of lawyers that backs him up on this. The companies do not know beforehand that they are being targeted. There have been some stories of someone going up and sliding a note across the table to Chris saying, hey, I'm the CFO of the company that this person is calling, like, we need to talk. And there was another one where there was a guy in the booth impersonating an employee who was sitting in the next room at DEF CON. And so all the employees were like, hey dude, like, I thought you were at DEF CON, like, why are you calling us? And he was like, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, no, you're calling us. And he went into the other room and saw the person who was like impersonating him. So Thankfully, none of those things happened during my call. But yeah, they don't know beforehand. They do get a report if they would like after where everything's been redacted and they can get the information on what happened so that they can then become more secure. So.
You obviously do a great job of building rapport and pivoting when you get those kinds of challenges. Are there any challenges you could maybe advise us on working with our employees that you're terrified of hearing, or that you just can't get around them? Are there good challenge questions we should teach our employees to ask when they're unsure?
Sure. One of the things that you can go armed with is the list of numbers that you want to call. And if anyone ends up doing this, the one thing I highly recommend is that you know your call time before you get to DEF CON. And I was obsessively, mine was Friday at like 11 a.m. And every weekday at 11 a.m., I called all my numbers to make sure a human answered. And during the call right before mine, I was like dialing, someone would answer, I'm like, okay, hang up. Like you can't talk to them, but you can verify someone answers. So verifying that you hit a person, because if you have to hit a machine and then hit 0 and then hit 1, you waste time. The other thing that you can do is you can supply a list of numbers you want to spoof. To say, I want to appear as though I'm calling from corporate, or I want to appear as though I'm calling from somewhere. And so a tool I often give people is phone number spoofing is a big thing. We're all getting hit with spam calls. And if someone claims like, hey, I'm calling from corporate or whatever from corporate, like, I'd like to speak to you about this, be like, cool, I will call you right back. Because unless they're actually at that number, there's no way that they can. That's just kind of a quick and easy way to say, okay, you know what, cool, I can't do it right now, I'm gonna have to call you back. And that's a good way to kind of shut me down, because I can't really get around that, so.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Didn't see any more hands going up in the room. Those are
All
great
right.
questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone.